All right, take two. This is not very good, is it? This is not very good. Let me just see where we're up to, if this is better. While you all jump in. Anyone still here? How's the stream now? Liquid Len? How's the stream now? Is this better? I wonder how long this is going to hold up. If this is not going to be a better stream, if it's going to cut in a minute, maybe I'm going to have to go direct on YouTube. This is clearly not a good platform that I've been using. Okay, we'll wait a second. Oh gosh, it is Friday the 13th. Do not say that. It's Friday the 13th. It's Friday. Is that good or bad? Is that good or bad? Is it Matt? Matt Totterpop? Is that how it is? Okay. I've got it up. Please hold. I'm just hoping. You were born on Friday the 13th. Okay, guys, I'm gonna, because I can't watch myself while I do this. It's really awkward. So let me know if at any point, if the stream goes dodgy again, and then I'll have to maybe go live or direct through YouTube. When I do that, it means I can't see all your comments. So it's really annoying. So I'd prefer to do it this way, but let's see how it holds up. Let's see how it holds up. So, as we were saying, before we got so rudely interrupted by the lack of internet in my gaff, it's so weird. It seems to be fine. I don't know. Let me know if it goes blurry at any point, though, guys. Right. So, where were we up to? We were talking about our brand new appointment. First stream I've watched. Okay. Yeah, guys, just give me a shout or anything if the stream goes dodgy. I don't want to get it up because I don't want to take away the bandwidth for this. How's it going? Well, we've got someone in charge. We've got someone in charge. That's the good news. Look, guys, as I was going to say, before this, we got so rudely interrupted by the old stream that seemed to fail us. I think we all just need to take a breather and maybe get off our high horse a little bit and manage our expectations. This is the reality of where we are at in our season. We have 12 games left to play, plus maybe 2 in the Champions League. We've had word, as I was about to say when the stream went dodgy, that according to Fabrizio Romano, this is an appointment until June 2026. Alistair Gold had reported a couple of hours before that there was a potential to extend the contract. But from what we've heard since then is that this is going to be a temporary appointment. I can see from the chat, a lot of people haven't really heard of him or seen a lot of his football. And I've got to be honest, I am one of those people. However, what the conversation today about is it doesn't really matter about those past results. It doesn't really matter whether he got sacked from previous jobs, because at the end of the day, we are in a relegation fight. We need to win a minimum of 3 games for the remainder of this season. And what we require as a club right now is for someone to come in and galvanize the team. That's what we need. We need a manager to come in and galvanize the team and get something out of this squad. At the time of making this video, we're of the knowledge that we have 11 first team players and we are 9 days out from that London derby. So let's be real about this, guys. Let's be real about this. Whoever comes in right now is walking to a house that is currently on fire. And the person, whoever that is, it's going to take this job, and it sounds like it's going to be Igor Tudor. The fact is that he's a brave man. He is a brave man to walk into this mess, to try and get us out of it. That is a huge, huge ask. And so I get it. The noise on X, the noise on YouTube, the noise that I've seen floating around is, who the hell is this guy? He's always been sacked. He doesn't get wins. He loses a lot of games. But guys, at the end of the day, those appointments are different to what he's walking into right now. It's pure bravery. I think we've got to commend someone, and it's particularly right now where there are fans who are so divided, to come in and to take that job. You know, they've obviously had loads of conversations with loads of different managers. We don't know what happened with De Zerbi. The noise was around that is that he didn't really want to take that stopgap job, but maybe he just didn't want to come to Spurs, you know? And so for a manager to come in, 12 games, see it out, that is the job. That's the job. There's no more than this. This is not about building a new identity. This is not about building a style of play. This is not about a culture shift. This is literally, come in, your first game is the London Derby, and you have to play it with 11 fit players. Like, this is the situation, guys. And so this is the reality check. We have to be a bit realistic. And I know this is painful, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, this is not what we want to hear, Sarah. Like, this is a terrible, terrible appointment. But that is the reality. It's the reality of where we're at. And so, look, the whole reason why we came to this point is because we left it so long to appoint someone in the first place. So you could say, and some of the news and the noise has been around the fact that Paratici kind of wanted or saw Tudor as a replacement back earlier this year. And now he's gone. And now they finally decided that he is the guy to come in. Maybe things needed to line up in order for that to happen. And I can see in the chat here, you guys, you're already slagging the guy off. You're already slagging the guy off. Come on. Look. The form that we're on right now is exactly what is on the screen. This is our form, right? So it doesn't matter what this guy's last games are, right? He is coming in. This is a fresh face inside that dressing room. This is a fresh face, and his job is to galvanize the team. Now, look, we've heard a couple of things, and I can't say I'm an expert in how Igor Tudor plays or what his style is. However, we do know that he has played with Mawani before, and he's managed to get Mawani playing or scoring goals, okay? And one of the things we require right now from our strikers is to start scoring goals. And so when you look at this objectively, this is Mawani's chance to shine. This is Mawani's chance to shine. He has not been played in the right position. He hasn't gelled with the squad for whatever reason. He's now got a guy coming in that knows him in and out. He's played under him. He's scored goals for him. And that is what we need. We need wins. We need wins, guys. Like, if we are ever to get out of this relegation battle, and if Pochettino is going to come back in the summer and take over this team and we're still in the Premier League, that's what needs to happen. We need to score goals, you know? So I think part of it is positive from the sense that he's played with some of our players. Word on the street is that he also maybe managed Kulu for a while. I'm not sure if there was an overlap at Juve or something like that, but word on the street is that Kulu is also someone who's familiar with Tudor. Whether Kulu's going to be back or not, we're not going to know that for a few more weeks, I think. But I think at the very least, we need 3 wins. Okay. And so this guy's job is to come in, galvanize the team, get in their faces, and get us over the line. That is it. He's not coming to rebrand Tottenham. Okay. He's not coming to rebrand. He's not coming to There Is To Do or There Es Facer. It's none of that. Okay. It's literally, that is the job. Now, I wouldn't expect us to maybe get so far in the Champions League, but he's got those 2 games to play. So, yeah, I can see in the chat here, some of you are saying that he's had a fight with players in his second game. Look, unfortunately, we've had a series of managers who have been fighting with, we've had a series of managers who have come in and ended up fighting with the players. So in some ways, maybe this is a good thing that it's only short term, because it doesn't matter whether the guy hasn't lasted 72 games or not. 72 games at the moment are not on the table. What is on the table is literally 12 games. And I just saw this. So I did change the name of this stream because I had Tudor's to do but I thought, oh, does it still say that? Okay, it does still say that. I said beggars can't be Tudors. That was the original title of this stream until I had to restart it. But yeah, look, either way you spin it, we're not in a position, we're not in a position as a club right now to sit on our laurels. And people are saying that, you know, this was a poor decision. Look, whoever needed to come in now, 9 days out of the London derby. That gives them a week to start preparation, to start training. It'll probably be announced, I'd imagine, either later today or tomorrow officially. And so these players had 5 days off, and apparently they're back on Monday. So that was the news I saw yesterday in Football London. So if he's going to come in, and if it's going to be a case that Monday the players are back in the dressing room, Monday the players are back in training, then we have a week or just under a week to prepare for that game. And this is going to be the game of the season. Like what a horrible first game, or an amazing first game for this guy, right? Whoever the guy is, and look, it's going to be Tudor, but you know, what an amazing first game to walk into. Your first game is the London derby after Brentford just took points off Arsenal yesterday. They've got 3 games to play, I think. I think they've got one this weekend. They're playing Wolves next week, and then they play us. We've got a whole week off to get ourselves together, to get ourselves in check, to get some motivation behind the scenes and come back all guns blazing in that game, which potentially could stop our relegation fight, but also stop Arsenal winning the league. I mean, you couldn't write it. You could not write it. There is so much riding on that first game. And we have a new member, the Irish Gent. Welcome to the Coys Collective tribe. Welcome to the family. Does that mean, the Irish Gent, that you're feeling optimistic about this appointment? Or does that mean that you're nervous and you need some consolation? But look, guys, I think we need to be a bit fair with this situation. I think the other narrative that I've heard, I will come back to a lot of these comments because I can see you guys in the chat. Yes, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. City are going to win the league, guys. City are going to win the league. We're going to win some games. We're not going to get relegated. Everything's going to be fine. And that would be the optimum outcome. That would be the optimum outcome of this season for us as Spurs fans, right? Like, we can't ask for any more than that. The title race is not over until City says it is, and the relegation battle isn't over until we say it is. And so these players, they need to get up for the fight. And I don't know, apparently Tudor's kind of got this reputation that he's come into these short-term jobs and initially there's a bit of a bounce. And with any manager, you need that bounce. This is what we've been saying for the past 2-3 months, right? This is what we've been saying since November. We need someone to come in and just have fresh blood in that changing room to get the players up so we can go on that bounce, right? So I wouldn't expect miracles, right? None of us, we need to manage our expectations with the squad that we've got. We said that before this appointment, this is the problem, right, with being football fans, because everything becomes so heightened so quickly. Yesterday, we're saying whoever comes in has got the toughest job because they've only got 11 fit players. And today we're saying, oh, the guy's already failed. Like, he's already made his bed. Well, the guy's already walking into a house that's on fire. Do you know what I mean? He needs to bring his fire extinguisher because whoever comes in, they're going to be hit with a huge task. You know, we have got such a mountain to climb with where we're at right now, you know. Steve. Oh, you're a new member. I remember you, Steve. Honestly, no Spans can agree on who is best for us right now. We need wins. That is to stay in the Prem. Let's go get behind the pen. Exactly. No, look, we're not going to agree. This is a short-term appointment. As I said, this is not a Spurs rebrand. And in terms of succession planning, I would even argue that this has actually been a good thing. I know people are slating Vinay and Lange, and I've been one of those people, and I'm of the agreement that Vinay probably needs to go because he hasn't been aligned with the board. He let it run on for too long. He didn't have the balls to sack Frank in the first place and got overruled by the board, right? So perhaps Vinay and Lange need to follow him out the door, Frank out the door I'm talking about. However, for now, in terms of succession planning, what we can see, given that this is an interim, is that there is going to be movement in the summer. And it looks like that's the noises it's going to be De Zerbi or Pochettino. We all know deep in our hearts it's going to be Pochettino, right? We know it's going to be Pochettino. So in terms of succession planning, as long as he can see out the season and look, if we're not in the Premier League next year, who knows if Pochettino would take a job in the Championship, right? So all that matters right now is the next game we play, and then we worry about it from there. We haven't got the easiest run, but equally we haven't got the hardest run. There's some games in there that we can definitely take points from. We've still got to play Fulham. We've still got to play Leeds. I can see I'm lagging a bit. Am I blurry? Have I gone blurry? I hope I haven't gone blurry. But you know, at the end of the day, that the win is all we need. You hope it's De Zerbi. Is that you a Spurs fan? Jürgen, are you a Spurs fan? Yeah, look, everyone has to play everyone. This is the Premier League. Everyone has to play everyone, right? So we haven't got the hardest run. We equally haven't got the easiest run. I think we've still got, I think we've still got Chelsea to play, I think. I think we've still got Chelsea to play. And we know we're not going to win that game. We never beat Chelsea. So look, this is an opportunity now for the players to get up for it. It's an opportunity. We've seen nothing from Mawani all season. Like if Mawani can finish this season and score 5 goals, we'll be laughing. Because 5 goals compared to a guy who hasn't scored anything. I mean, you'd take that right now, no? Like, you'd absolutely take that. The biggest challenge that I see, the biggest challenge that I can see is that he plays 3 at the back, right? The chats are popping off on my phone and like people are like, I'm not happy about this. We're going to get relegated. But look, let's hold off on making assumptions before the fact has actually happened, because he likes to play 3 at the back. That's what we've heard. He likes to play a 3-4-2-1 is what we've heard. Some of you, Carrie's saying, ew. The problem that we have is that for the next 3 games, we only have 2 centre halves. That is the problem that we've got. Someone's saying 3-5-2, right? So either way, he's playing 3 at the back. The challenge is going forward for our next few games, we have 2 centre halves for our next. How many more games is Romero banned for? It's 3, isn't it? He's got 3 games left. He was out for that 1. So I think he's got 3 games that he's out for, Romero. So at least for the next 3 games, we've only got 2 centre halves. So once Romero gets back, knowing Spurs, we'll probably get another injury, right? Let's be realistic. Maybe this is an opportunity for someone like Byfield, who's a centre-back, who started for us a couple of times. Maybe he gets a chance in the Champions League game. You know, I don't know if Byfield is up for the job, up for the fight. But at this point, if we are that leggy in terms of our first team, we need to be bringing the youth into this squad to strengthen us. And I know that sounds contradictory, talking about strengthening your squad, but you need legs on the pitch. So this is a very, very tricky situation. And I can see here, Matt suggested that maybe Paulinho would go in that back line. We don't know who's fit at the moment. This is also part of the problem. You need to win at least 1 game of his first 4 games. So let's have a look. Should we have a look? Who is our run? I know we've got Arsenal, obviously. So we've got our next 4 games are Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, and Liverpool away. Oh my God, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. I didn't realise we've got Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Chelsea's our second to last game of the season. We've also still got Villa. We've also still got Villa, guys. So let's say 4 out of those games, the remaining 12, you've got Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa and Chelsea. And let's be realistic, guys. Let's be realistic. Let's not go into this thinking we're going to have miracles and we're going to beat Chelsea. We never beat Chelsea. So I think the games that potentially we can pick up some points is going to be maybe Fulham, maybe Palace at home. If the crowd get up for this, I think Palace at home is going to be a game that we can take points from, because Fulham right now, they're off form as well. Then after Liverpool, we've got Forest. We can beat Forest. They're as much as a shambles as we are. Don't worry, Mark. We've got a balance, right? So we've got Forest in the mix as well. And I think that Forest, we know that Forest's manager is also gone, and their manager. I don't think Forest have appointed a manager, have they? I don't think Forest have appointed a manager. We've got Sunderland. That's going to be a tough game, but I don't see why we can't draw that. We've got Brighton. I think we can beat Brighton. They are on terrible form, Brighton, right now. They also haven't won in 5. I think it might even be more than 5. They haven't won. Brighton haven't won in 5 games. You've got Wolves, so surely we've got Wolves away, but we've got Wolves. Wolves for us is like a bit of a banana skin. Wolves for us is a banana skin. I mean, it's outrageous, but hopefully, this is what I mean. Hopefully, new fresh blood can turn the tide. So I think we can probably pick up points from Leeds. I don't know about Everton, but that's the last game of the season at home. So last game of the season is Everton at home. I think if we are in a really tight relegation battle, coming that last game of the season, which is the 24th of May, then the crowd is going to have to get behind the team. So I think at the very least, the last maybe 2 games, which is Leeds and Everton, those are going to be games where the home ground is going to have to be a different atmosphere to what we've been seeing all season. Regardless, even if we are sitting 17th at that point in time, that, Leeds and Tottenham could be fighting for that relegation. So we've got to be really realistic. And I don't know if Tudor is going to work wonders. I don't know much about his playing style. But at the end of the day, if he's going to come in and see the season out, and the players are up for it, that's what matters. And I can imagine right now, can you imagine, guys, the WhatsApp chat for the players right now? Do you know what? Earlier today, before all the news broke, I actually rewatched Ben Davis's interview on the Biz of Sport. I don't know if anyone saw that. It was, oh, my phone's going. They'll have to wait. I was rewatching the Biz of Sport. My phone's going again. What is going on? It will have to wait. I was rewatching earlier the sorry, I was just thinking who's calling me twice. Yes, so in the Player Pods playlist, I added in the interview with Ben Davis, which was back in 2024, and he was talking about life under Pochettino in one of those segments. So I actually wanted to go back to it and rewatch it, and it was really interesting. Business of Sport, it was over a year ago that was released, but if you guys are interested in hearing a little bit about Pochettino and behind the scenes of Ben Davis, how crazy would that be, Ben Davis, if he's still here next year and Pochettino comes back? That'd be wild. But yeah, I think that from what I'm surmising from all of this is that the succession plan of Tudor at the time of saying this will be either Pochettino or De Zerbi. So that's weird. Okay, I don't know why someone's sending me a message. Okay. Oh, Mark. I don't know if Mark's still here, but Mark's explained to me why it might have gone blurry. But yeah, thanks for that. Hopefully I can get this fixed for future. I'm not really sure why that keeps happening. So guys, what's the chat saying? How are we feeling? What's the chat saying? Because I guess as far as I've seen, that's kind of like, I guess that's where I've taken it up to in terms of like the mentality of where we're at right now, what needs to happen between now and the end of the season in terms of the succession planning, in terms of the players that we've got fit in the squad, in terms of the formation that potentially we could end up seeing, given that we know that Muani is going to play under him. It's going to be really interesting. It's actually going to be really interesting because we know that Solanke hasn't been fit to be playing these games back to back. And obviously now with this window where we've had a bit of time, I wonder if Solanke is going to fall out of favor. Like, it's going to be really interesting because Solanke was started to come back as like a little bit of form. Oh, hey there. Hey, thanks for your message. Okay. I don't know if it's still rendering the other one, but I'm gonna have to look at some different. I've got 6 different softwares I need to look into, but I've got a couple of talks coming up next week, so I haven't had a chance. I think once next week's over and I've got my my workplace stuff sorted, then I can properly look at all this as well. Oh, Juventus fan. Hi, Nirak. Hello. Yeah, we want to hear from the Juve fans. That'll be amazing. Is anyone else in the chat a Juve fan? What do you guys think? I wish you good luck. Tudor is a manager who likes to press and play attacking football, but the thing is, defensively, it can be a bit of a shambles. Well, Nirak, that pretty much summarizes Tottenham Hotspur right now because we have no centre-backs. Well, we do have centre-backs. We have 2 centre-backs, and our left back, who's fit, is 19 years old, and our right back, who's fit, well, actually, we don't have a right back fit. So that's going to be Archie Gray, who's also 19. We do have Jed Spence. So I think he was fit for the last game. So I don't know if he goes 3 or 4 at the back. But Jed Spence is a good one-on-one man defender. But I don't know if he's going to fit a 3 at the back system. So maybe my door's just gone. What the hell is going on? Oh my gosh. I'm not expecting anything, so I'm not going to answer it. My neighbors will have to do that. But yeah, really interesting to hear from Juve fans what you guys think. Yeah, defensively, we've been a shambles. We've been a shambles all season. So he's coming in to rectify something that's already been a problem anyway. Like, I don't think that, like, put it this way. If Frank was still here, it was going to be a shambles anyway. So you're talking about the lesser of 2 evils from a Spurs perspective. Like, if we're conceding goals, that's okay as long as we're scoring goals. The problem was before with the previous few games is that we haven't been able to score goals. So if we can turn around and we can start scoring goals, either with Muani or Solanke, and maybe he can even get Tell up for it. Because he does play left wing and striker as well. So we're not going to have any wingers. I don't know. From you, Nirak, do you think he likes to play with wingers, or like kind of like what does his attacking style look like? Because at the moment we have no wingers fit. So for anyone who's not a Spurs fan, I think we have about 12 injured players right now. So our first and second right wing, and we kind of only really have 1 left wing, which is Tell. And you could say maybe Muani is the second one there. But Muani is kind of also a striker, and so's Tell. So it's all a bit of a muddle. At Spurs, we're a bit of a mess right now. You know, and this is the problem. Like the manager that comes in, like they have a huge task on their hands to try and, you know, get a tune out of this squad. He plays 3-4-2-1. Yeah, that's what I thought. So in other words, you're going to see like you're pretty much going to see a Tell and a Xavi probably, or maybe you're probably going to see a Tell and a Xavi, aren't you? Because now Odebear's injured, you can't play Gallagher there because you need him in the midfield, and because you have no Bentancur, like that reinforces. And look, he's going to have to play Bissouma. Like this is the situation, right? Bissouma should have probably been out the door last summer, but we are clutching at straws. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, mildly speaking. But this is the thing, right, guys? Like if you're going to bring in any manager, it has to be the kind of character that is going to, get into the players' faces and get them up for the fight. And maybe some of the other characters, like, De Zerbi is a bit of a loose cannon in his own right. I don't know if Tudor is like a bit more of like a player manager, if you get what I mean. Like maybe he's a bit more of a like man-on-man manager, and he can maybe galvanize the team a little bit more. Whereas De Zerbi might be seen as like a little bit of a loose cannon. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What do you guys think? Do we have any other Juve fans in the house? Do we have any other Juve fans? Like, what are you guys saying? Do you reckon this is a good appointment? I wonder if some of the kids like Byfield might see more playing time. Yeah, I don't know if you just hopped on, but this is kind of what I was just saying. This, if he does play three at the back like this, because we only have two centre backs who are going to be ready for the next 3 games, and at least until Romero's out, then maybe this is an opportunity for someone like Byfield to come into the squad. Alternatively, the only other choice you realistically have is playing Paulinho. Like that's realistically the only choice that you have. I don't think Spence is good enough for a 3 at the back, but maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe we have to shuffle the deck, and that's what we have to do just to get us over the line in these next few games. I don't know how to feel about Arsenal at the moment. I really don't. Do you think they tried speaking to other managers or just Tudor as they had his contacts already? I don't know. I think it's hard to say. They were probably making loads of phone calls. They were probably making loads. Look, it clearly wasn't something that was lined up already, because it took a couple of days and it's still not officially announced that I know of. I don't think it's been officially announced just yet. Tottenham. They haven't. The club haven't made an announcement just yet, so it might even be till tomorrow. We might not get word until tomorrow. So it clearly wasn't something that was planned for, right? It's the sacking of Frank and his successor. So they probably were making phone calls all around. I would imagine, okay, if I was sitting in Vinay's seat and I get the phone call from Nick Busher over in Florida, and he's like, hey guys, like, I've seen the last game, Carrington just told me what a mess it is over there. He was at the game. You need to sack him. And then all of a sudden, they're like on the back foot. They're like, right, let's go back to the drawing board and look at that list we drew up in the summer and see who's available, see who we can offer the job to, who is going to take an interim job, who's out of work right now that doesn't want a long-term project, because that's what this is. It's literally an interim job, So I would have thought that maybe they were revising some of those names that they had on their list in the summer. And maybe, obviously, well, not maybe, but obviously some of those managers were going to have been managers or coaches that didn't fit the playing style at Spurs. And so if anything, at least we know that he is an attacking manager, even though he can be a bit of a shambles at the back. It sounds like Ange 2.0. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Ange 2.0. I'd like to see Byfield instead of Radu. Yeah. Throwing a player in can make or break a player. So look, let's see whose time it is to shine. Let's see whose time it is to shine, because we've been saying for so long we don't have a standout player in the squad. A couple of days ago when I went live, we were talking about who would you have on the back of the shirt, and we all said that there's no one at the moment who you'd have on the back of the shirt. So you could look at this in 2 ways. You could either say this is a terrible appointment and it's going to go downhill from here and we're going to get relegated and everything's awful, or you could say, look, they did us a favor by getting rid of Frank. This is an opportunity to galvanize the team, to get the team behind him, and for those players to step up and show themselves, because next season, are they going to be here? It's all very well said, these players saying they want to leave, but at the end of the day, you're under contract. You're under contract. Kinski will shine. Some of you have been saying Kinski in the chat, actually. And did you guys see that Kinski posted on Instagram pretty much on the dot of when the announcement of Frank got sacked? He posted and it said heart's desire. That's all the post said. It just said heart's desire. So I was wondering, it made me think, were the players consulted, and were maybe the players asked their opinion? Like, I would imagine the leadership team got asked, but it did make me think, when he said heart's desire, I thought, have they put it out to the team and said, what do you think? Do you like playing under Frank or whatever? And they just said no. And then now he's posting and saying, that's my heart's desire. Oh, what are you guys saying? I thought there was some more news from Sky Sports. Is there news on Sky Sports? Radu has been played in the wrong position. In the threes, he played right centre-back in Genoa, and he did well. Yeah, I don't think Radu's as bad as we're saying. I think the thing with Radu is he just hasn't had a string of games. He's not match fit yet. He hasn't had a string of games. He hasn't been able to get into the first team squad because Danso's been favoured ahead of him. And so, look, it's an opportunity for him. Look, in times like this is where players need to show themselves, because they have an opportunity to get into the first team squad, I don't know. Maybe Kinski does come in. I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? Maybe he does. Let's be honest. We need to give him the benefit of the doubt and demand more from the players. They are the ones who've let us down. Romero needs to do his talking on the pitch. Exactly. He's out for the next 3 games. Goodness knows what could happen. You could have Byfield, Radu, and Mickey van der Ven at the back and not concede anything. But from what we heard from the Juve fan, Nirak, just before, is that typically Tudor's style is a bit of a mess at the back and it's a bit more of a focus up front, which is what we're lacking right now. That is what we're lacking. That's a good point. Because we don't know. This is a good point, the bare nose vibes, because we don't know who the staff is going to be. Like, it's all very well saying that the coach is going to change, but does that mean that the assistants, that the staff is going to change? Because Heitinger just came in. So it's all very I guess there's still probably a lot of moving parts that probably need to be agreed. At least we have a new voice in the locker room for sure. He would have more respect from yes, right, exactly. Hopefully this can get us something against Arsenal. I don't know if we'll get anything against Arsenal, but exactly that. It is about getting the new fresh blood in the changing room because the morale has been so low. We've heard the rumors that the players weren't turning up on time. So, hopefully they can turn up on time. But that's also the problem when you don't have everyone fit, right? Because if no one's fighting for the position and everyone's turning up late, then you've got nowhere to turn. You can't play your backups because you are playing your backups anyway. So there's less competition. And that's the thing. You need healthy competition in the squad. And that's obviously not the fault of Tudor. So I think we need to, be a bit realistic about the fact that we don't have the rotation that we need. Any free agent centre back worth a punt. Yeah. Well, it's going to be our youngsters. It's going to be our youngsters, isn't it? I wonder if Paratici had a say in this. I don't know. The rumor mill on X was, what was it? The rumor mill on X said, and this is what I saw earlier, Paratici wanted Tudor in the summer. They didn't get him. They appointed Frank. Paratici wanted Frank sacked. He left because he wasn't being listened to. The club sacked Frank like Paratici wanted and appointed his target interim. And that was from Invert the Wing. So I don't know. Maybe. The last will and testament of Paratici before he left. Yeah, exactly, Simon. Exactly. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome to the Coys Collective tribe. Hopefully, we're going to have more happiness to talk about. There is a mixed, I'm just looking at the chat, guys, there is a bit of a mixed feeling amongst the Spurs fans. I would definitely say that. And I think, look, this is always a thing, right? When you're dealing with uncertainty, we don't know the outcome yet. So the only thing in life that's assured is death and taxes. That's literally it. So we don't know if we're going to win games. We don't know if we're going to lose games, but at least it's better than what we had before. It can't be any worse. I mean, it could be worse, but it can't realistically be that much worse, because the players weren't playing for the manager at the end of the day. So, what I'm hearing is his idols don't do that. Gaurav, are you have I pronounced that right? Have I pronounced that right, Gaurav? Yeah, I 33 players and he was 5 games goalless and got sacked. Look, we've been goalless. Look, if we don't win against Arsenal, are people realistically going to say it's his fault? Are people going to realistically say it's his fault? Like, the guy has 9 days and he's not even been officially announced yet. I think our fans are so harsh and we're so delusional. We think we're so much better than we are. Sorry to bring us down to reality, but like, someone needs to say it, right? Like, we're 16th. Like, look at the table. We're 16th, Don't jinx it. I'm not jinxing it. But look, we've got to be realistic, There's no point saying when you set goals, okay, here we go, guys. Here's a question for you. 12 games left of the season, right? 12 games left of the season. We are currently on, I think it's 29 points. Is that right? I think we're on 29 points. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so we're on 29 points, 12 games left, 36 points to play for. So what do you guys think? So there's a maximum of 65 points that we could get. We're not going to get 65 points. Let's be realistic. But what would you guys say is a fair, not expectation, let's call it a target. What would you guys say is a fair target in terms of points for the rest of this season? What would you say is a fair target of points? What would be like a fair, realistic outcome of this season in terms of our finishing league position? Because I know that some people, like, I can see in the WhatsApp chats here, people are already like, this is terrible, we're going to get relegated. But look, let's look at it from the flip side. What would be? So some of you are saying, here we go. Someone says 17 and 16, the last 2 seasons, says something is wrong at this club. Yeah, we know that. We're a shambles. Okay, so 9 points, 12 points, 9 points, 12 points, 38 points is the mark. Okay, 40 points to survive. 47 points. Oh, that's ambitious. But that was the Optus supercomputer's projection, right? Look, analysis can only tell you so much, but the Optus supercomputer, forget the fact that Frank's gone, because it's just looking at form. They predicted 46 points is where Spurs would finish. And if that's the case, I mean, how many points are we looking at? You're looking at maybe like 5 wins and 2 draws, maybe. That's maybe 5 wins and 2 draws out of 12 games. So you're talking about winning half. I don't know if we're going to win half, but yeah, maybe we could win 3, and then maybe we could pick up like 3 draws. Like maybe that's a bit more realistic. If we're looking at our run, and we're saying, okay, we could pick up points from Fulham, Palace, Forest, Wolves, and Leeds. That should do it. No? Obviously, if all of those games are draws, that's a different conversation. Like, you've got to win some of those. 9 to 12 points, 11 points get us to 40. Right. So this is like 3. Surely we can beat Forest. I'm surely we can beat Wolves. I mean, we probably won't beat Wolves. We'll probably like do something stupid. I don't know, like draw against Liverpool or something. Liverpool is so off form right now. 10 points will see us save 39, 16 points. That's ambitious. Seven Sisters Road, 16 points, I think. But it's not impossible because we've got the games to play. It's whether we can get up for them. 42 points in total. Big up, Sarah. Big up to you, Henry. As long as we get to 40. So what's that? 11 points. Okay, so most people, I think, are saying in the chat that we need to win a third to a quarter of our games. We've got 12 games left. We need to win 3 to 4. And I think that's doable. I mean, it's a tough ask. It's a huge ask. No matter who the manager is, it's a massive feat. Like whoever's coming in, it's not going to be an easy time for them, 17th would be great. Exactly. Some of you are saying even if we don't get relegated, that would be good, right? So realistically, are we going to finish 14th? Probably not. Oh, I can see a Juve logo here. Hello, Analyzer 687. Welcome to Spurs from the Stands. I know you're not a Spurs fan, but you're welcome around here. Tudor is a serious man and usually gets the job done with whatever he's tasked with. Surely he'll keep Spurs up, but that cannot be the goal. Yeah, I think we're all aware that for Spurs, that can't be the goal. But realistically, right now, with our squad, so with the fact that we have 11 fit players, realistically, that is the goal. Like realistically, the goal is to stay up. I think, and the reason why in the Premier League, I don't know if you've been following like the Premier League and stuff like this, Analyzer, but because West Ham have been on a run, the challenge is that they're closing the gap if we don't pick up points. So it's really competitive at the bottom of the Premier League right now. I personally think, this is my personal opinion, I think Forest are going to go down. I think Forest are going to go down, and I think West Ham are safe because there's 3 points in it. And I think Forest are in just as the shambles as we are. I don't know if Forest have appointed a manager yet. So they got rid of their manager yesterday. So there's a lot going on in the Premier League at the bottom of the table. So what do you, Analyzer, I'm assuming you're a Juve fan because of this logo. So what would you say is like the strength of Tudor's playing style? When you say he's a serious man and gets the job done, what would you say is like the best thing or the thing that he brings in terms of like playing style? Because at the moment at Spurs, we have no identity. So there is kind of an opportunity, I guess, to create a stamp on how we're going to play for the rest of the season. 42 points. Let's discuss, Sarah, how many points will be enough to stay in the league looking at West Ham and Forest's fixtures? Yeah, we can do that. Hold on, let's just do a few more and then I can have a look. Can I pin that? How do I pin that? I don't know how I pin that. I start that? I start that. Well, if the rumours are true about Frank taking the Forest job, our home game, is there rumours about that? Is there rumours? Because I tweeted the other day that Frank's going to get that as an interim job and go to Palace in the summer. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? Oh my God. Can you imagine the headlines? Frank gets sacked from Spurs, goes to Forest and they get relegated, or they don't get relegated. That'd be wild. Oh my God. The Premier League this season, man. The Premier League this season. I didn't think we'd be having popcorn talking about, being in the relegation fight. I thought maybe the conversation would be, can we get into Conference League? But that's just so far away right now. Like for most fans, as long as we just pick up points, I think anyone that's expecting any more than that is unrealistic. And I get that the Juve fans are saying, Spurs fans need to be thinking higher than that. But I think just the state of the squad right now and where we're at and how many players we've got fit, I think we need to just be realistic. Because look, if you set an unrealistic goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. That's if it feels unachievable, you're just not going to achieve it. It has to feel achievable when you set these goals. Swim Master. I calculated we'll get another 15 points. Forest 14, West Ham 13. Interesting. So you think we're going to win 5 games? Well, one of those I'm assuming is going to be Forest. So that's good. That's a 6-pointer in itself. One of those is going to be Wolves. The good news was Burnley beat Palace. I don't think Burnley are going to stay up. Some of you were writing to me on Twitter, panicking that Burnley have just picked up points. I would say Burnley are out the race to get out of the relegation. I mean, anything's possible, but I just think it's too much for them. I think that it was a better thing for us that Palace dropped points than Burnley picked up the points. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jorgen's exactly right. We don't really care about the position. We just don't want to get relegated. Yeah, I agree, Daryl. Daryl's saying it, playing high intensity football for 90 minutes might be a problem. And that's because of the personnel. And to be honest with you, if we're out the next round of the Champions League, I don't think anyone here would be upset about that. Tell me if you'd be really upset if we got out of if we were out of the next round of the Champions League. Like, would anyone be realistically upset? I don't think anyone would be. I think we just need to put all our eggs in one basket and focus on the Prem. A draw against Arsenal would be a good start. Do you know what? I've got it off so lightly in the group chats. We've got it off so lightly because the Gooners have been so quiet. So the Gooners I'm in like a bit more of like a football group chat. And I think when the Gooners were 9 points clear, we were like, oh my gosh, like all the Spurs fans in the chat, we were like, oh, you're going to win the league. And they were like, no. They were like, we've been here before. We've seen us bottle it from 9 points before. So we're not getting cocky. And I think that's why Spurs fans have got it off so light. I don't know about you guys, but in my group chat, we've got it off so light, despite the fact we're in relegation, because they're scared that they're going to bottle it. And look what's happening. Man City, they've got they just get it. They're just up for the fight. And that's the thing. Do we have the fight on the opposite end of the spectrum? How many points will Palace get? Hold on. Let me see who's left to play who for the rest of the season. Fixtures. Okay. So well, next game up, Wolves have to play Arsenal. That's kind of irrelevant to everyone. Villa play Leeds. What's Palace? Okay, Palace next weekend play Wolves. That's not a great start, is it? Okay. Let's maybe look at the teams below us. I think that'd probably be a better realistic shout, wouldn't it? So let's look at Forest's run. Forest have, oh yeah, I forgot. Forest are in the Europa League. Forest are in the Europa League and they have to play Fenerbahce next. So they've got extra games. And I think that's going to cost Forest a little bit because West Ham, they don't have those extra games. In the Europa League, they've got Fenerbahce, and in between that, Forest have Liverpool. Next game. So they've got Fenerbahce, then they've got Liverpool, then they've got Fenerbahce again at home. They've got Brighton, Man City, Villa, Sunderland, Chelsea, Newcastle, United, Bournemouth. And obviously they've got us in there as well, and Fulham. Forest won't do it. Is that good news, guys? Where's the chat at? Palace plays on the 19th and 22nd against Wolves. Yeah, Forest games are difficult. This is a really hard run for Forest. So they're not going to pick up points against City. They've won the league. They're not going to pick up points against Villa because they're in the fight. I think that Sunderland beat Forest. Sunderland are at home. Maybe Forest can pick up a couple of points against Burnley. Maybe. They've got Chelsea away, Forest. They've got Newcastle at home, United away, and Bournemouth. That is a really, really tough run. Yeah, they don't care about Europe, but that's a tough run. In terms of West Ham, don't forget West Ham still in the FA Cup. So they've got Bournemouth. They've got Liverpool as well. I said this, didn't I? I said it in the live that I did a few days ago, that Liverpool are the team that still has to play everyone in the relegation fight. So it's really down to Liverpool, and Liverpool have had a tough run. I mean, they were beat by City. They need to get into top 4. They need to beat all of us relegation fodder. Like, that is Liverpool to get into Europe. They need to beat the relegation fodder. So really, this is a choice for Liverpool. You know, can they beat West Ham? Can they beat Forest? Can they beat Wolves? And I think they can beat all those teams, in which case that pegs everyone back. Yeah, it depends on Nuno. Yeah, well, West Ham have also got Fulham. They've got City. They've got Villa to play. I mean, we've got Villa to play, but we've played City. They've got to play Wolves. They'll probably beat Wolves. They've got Palace, Everton. I think Everton are doing okay at the moment. They've got Brentford. Brentford are doing okay. Brentford just bloody took points off Arsenal. West Ham have got to play Arsenal as well. They've got to play Newcastle. And they've got to play Leeds. So probably I'd say Forest have the hardest run. And that's why I think Forest are going to go down and West Ham will stay up. Personally, I think Forest go down. I think if we're lucky, we can finish. Well, we're 3 points off 13th. So one win, we leapfrog. And I think that just gives everyone a bit of hope and we get ourselves out of that conversation. That's what we need right now. We need to get ourselves out of the conversation, don't we? Okay, where's the chat at? They got us to play in Palace. Who's that? You talking about Forest? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if we can... look, this is the problem. We've already lost against Forest this season, but hopefully the morale is going to be a bit better in the dressing room. And that's why the morale is so important. That is why the most important thing about this appointment of Igor Tudor is if he can get the players up for the fight. Top 10. Eric Hudson, I think we need to be managing our expectations. I don't think we can get 10th. I think that's a long shot. I think we just need to win games. I think thinking about finishing higher than anything realistically like 13th is a long shot. We're 7 points off 10th, 7 points. And the teams amongst that we play, we've got to play Palace, we've got to play Fulham. We've played Newcastle, so I think 10th is a bit of a tough ask. We've got to play Leeds. They're 1 point ahead of us. I think 10th is a bit ambitious. I've got to be honest. I'd be happy with the 16th. I'd be happy with 16th and, finishing the Champions League in this round. Because we also get money. If we were to get through one more round in the Champions League, we'd also get more money. But it depends how greedy the board want to be. Igor is best in these situations, kept Udinese and Verona both up. Yeah, I've heard that as well. So you reading that off just gave me the most hope I've had in a while. Yeah, exactly. Look, everyone's got to play everyone. Everyone's got to play everyone. And as much as we could potentially lose against Arsenal and then the next week, like we could be in 17th, 18th position, I think realistically, when you look at the rest of the season and who's got to play who, I think out of all of those games, Forest has the hardest run. That's my take. That's my take. And I think Leeds are strong enough to sustain it. I think Leeds stay up. I think Leeds and Sunderland stay up. Well, Sunderland definitely is, but I think Leeds probably do as well because Leeds, look, they've been playing all right. I mean, Leeds drew against Chelsea, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like, they drew against Chelsea. Oh, thank you, Billy. Thank you. Shout out to you. And welcome to our new members. Tudor's lowest ever winning ratio as manager is 37.78%. If he achieves just that, it would be 13.6 points, which would be enough. Yeah, look, I think when you look at previous jobs, you're also taking into consideration the dressing room in those jobs. And I think the morale in our dressing room right now is so low. What's more important than anything is that he just gets the players up for the fight. And I think if the players start showing that they want to play for the manager and they want to play for the badge, we won't get relegated. Like, look at the personnel. Like, I know we've got so many injured players, but on the flip side, like, you've got a lot of talent in the squad. It's just whether they're going to show themselves, do they have the fight in them? And if he can get them to like dig deep and like, pull out a couple of wins, then I think we'll be safe, But ultimately, what it comes down to now is how the players react. How do the players react to this? Because they were the ones who wanted Frank out. Romero, he was saying it was a disgrace that the board didn't buy anyone. And then he goes and gets a red card, so he's out the squad. And then we fire the manager and we get someone else in because they weren't performing for the last guy. So at some point, the players just have to take accountability because the window's closed, that window's been and gone, and the opportunity to bring in other players is over. So they've just got to pick themselves up and show us what they're about. You know, we cannot see another 90-minute game like we did against Newcastle, where they walk across the football pitch. Like, that was ridiculous. Walking football is just ridiculous. Look at Liverpool's next 4 or 5 games, all those around us. Yeah, I mean, I said this the other day, last week even. I said that was the case. So Liverpool's run, not that we really care too much about Liverpool, but Liverpool have to play Forest, West Ham, Wolves, us, Brighton, Fulham, Everton, and Palace. Like, Liverpool literally have to play all those teams around us. Their hardest games are at the end of the season. They've got United, Chelsea, Villa, and then they finish the season on Brentford. So up until like May, Liverpool hopefully can go on a run. I really hope Liverpool can go on a run. I don't support Liverpool. I don't care about Liverpool. But if that means that we don't get dragged into it, then I'm all here for Liverpool getting in the top 4. Like, to be honest, I don't really care who gets in the top 4 at this point. It doesn't really affect us, does it? Yeah, you've got Chelsea, Liverpool, and United, who are all fighting for that 4th space, right? So realistically, Liverpool probably have the easiest run out of all of those. So if they can take points off of each other, then Liverpool could leapfrog, and then that would mean that we're a bit safer. But it's down to them because they're probably going to beat us as well. Let's be honest, Liverpool are going to beat us as well. Yeah, I need to go in a minute as well. Raging Tea Cozy. What did Raging Tea Cozy say? Loud support needed in the stadium here on in. Yeah. Can you imagine if all the fans get together and we start singing Champions of Europe? Like, this could be our last opportunity against Arsenal to sing that to their faces, you know, in a long, long time. This is the window that we get to sing that song and rub it in their faces, you know. And I was kind of hoping, I've been waiting all season for this game to, like, you know, rub it in the Gooners' faces that we've won a trophy and they might bottle the league. So if the fans can get behind the team and the players can get up for it, my God, that would be an amazing turn of events. That would be an amazing turn of events. I couldn't think of anything better than a game to win that would be against Arsenal, who are 3 points behind who 3 points ahead right now. Like, you couldn't think of anything better. They are going to beat Wolves, so they'll probably extend that to 6 points, but that's their game in hand because of the FA Cup. So in the league, he'll do all right, but the UCL, this might benefit my club if we get through to face you guys. Frank had a knock of performing in UCL. You support Juve, right? Oh, was it Juve? Oh, yes. Juve was one of the teams we could face. Yeah, that's a good point. You could not write it. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Can you imagine that final 16 if you play Juve? Just what the hell? There'll be so much more riding on that game, right? But I think just for Spurs fans, I think as a Juve fan, you can probably count yourself lucky that the priority for us is going to be not relegation. So I think anyone coming up against Spurs in the Champions League, it's kind of like a throwaway game for us. And I think we have the skill to probably win the next round. Whether it's going to be priority and prioritized by Tudor, I think time's going to tell, because it's going to depend on the next couple of games. Yeah, it's going to depend on the next couple of games. Well, I don't know when the knockouts are played. When are the knockouts played? Nottingham appointed. Is that true? Wait, is that true? Have they just appointed someone? Is that true? Is that confirmed? Oh, okay. I've just seen. Agreement, Fabrizio Romano, agreement sealed with Portuguese manager who is set to take over at Nottingham Forest after Sean Dyche got sacked. I don't know. Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing for Forest fans? Okay. Well, the general room seems to be saying that Forest is going to get relegated on Twitter, but I would probably take Tudor over that, right? Yeah, you take Tudor over Vita, I think, from the looks of it. But that's the news that's come out from Romano in the last hour. So thanks for the heads up, AB24 Shine. Yes, nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide. You didn't turn up for training with the last guy. Tudor has got such a big task on his hands. Oh my God, if the players turned up late to that first training session on Monday morning, can you imagine? Can you imagine if they turn up late to the first training session? There would be murders going on at the training ground, because it's like you guys are fighting for relegation and he's got no choice of players. He's literally got no choice of players. Do we know when Porro's back? Is Porro going to be back for the Arsenal game? What's the injury status of that? Porro is going to be back. Richie's out till the 22nd of Feb, which is good. Porro's out to the 22nd as well. So 2 of those players are out until the 22nd. That's what we're hearing. And that would be the Sunday. So Porro and Richie are anticipated to be back, which potentially is a good thing, because you now have another player in midfield, because you can play Mawani on the left, and then you have rotation for Solanke with Richie. And then that reinforces us on the right back and the left back, because then you play Spence left back. And I'm just making assumptions because we don't know how he's going to line up. I'm making massive assumptions. It might actually not make any difference, because if he does 3 at the back, it's not going to change much. If Tudor can get these players in line and focus only on the next game, then it's up to the gods. 100%. 100% are the footballing gods in our favour. And do you know what, guys? I was thinking yesterday, because obviously I did that really long video all about the overlap podcast and breaking down like what Ange was saying. And I was thinking about it last night, because I think it's a good thing that Ange has called out the club. And from the board's perspective, that's really, really worrying and concerning. And it's concerning for fans. The fact, well, he didn't shout about anything we didn't already know. But what I was thinking is, has that worked? Has that served as like a negative press for the club, in the sense that our players going to want to come to the club if the ex-manager is coming out and airing our dirty laundry and saying we don't pay players enough? Like, I don't think that's the greatest piece of PR for Tottenham Hotspur. So Ange was 100% throwing the club under the bus in that talk that he did yesterday. Like, yes, I mean, that was it was the fastest trending podcast to ever get, footballing podcast to ever get to 1 million. It got to 1 million in about 12 hours. It was insane. Small club. And as I said in the video, everyone's going to clickbait it and say that Tottenham's not a big club. He didn't say that. He said not a big club in terms of wages. I knew that the clickbait was going to be all about that. That's just what the headlines do. And we're not a big club in terms of wages. Like, that's not new information. But I was thinking to myself, this is kind of like detrimental to the PR machine, when Spurs are going to be trying to go after big names this summer. Who knows? Maybe we could still go after Neto. Oh my God, guys. Like, I really hope Eze's on the bench next week. And the other good thing is Havertz is injured. Like, is Havertz here? Is our Havertz troll here? Is he awake today? The Havertz troll? Maybe he's in hospital right now. Maybe Havertz is not around in the chat because he's gone to get his knee checked out. I don't know. But that's good. That's great for us that Havertz is out. Really good. No, Forest, and he wasn't there long. I don't know. At least we didn't hire Potter. Yeah. So we've just said. How do I pronounce your name? Mobin. Azhar Mobin. So we think that Richie and Porro are going to be the next off the block. And they're going to be back for Arsenal. And then we think the next players after that is going to be Danso, Udogi, and Romero. So obviously that's going to be in 3 games' time. So potentially by 3 games' time, we'll still have 9 games left to play, and potentially we can have 5 more players back, which is quite significant, really. So you'd have 2 centre backs and a left back. But I would probably refrain from just playing Udogi at all, to be honest. Like, Udogi needs a rest. No showing up late. Exactly. Yeah, this is an opportunity for the players at the end of the day. It's just been announced on BBC Sport. After the way they messed us around and got Palace out of the cup, I pray Forest go down. I think they will do. If I was a betting man, woman, whatever, if I was a betting person, I would bet for Forest to go down. But please don't bet on me saying that, right? Like, I don't encourage that kind of behavior. But yeah. Big club in terms of history. We're a big club. We're not a top 6 club. We are a big 6 club. We have a huge following. Tottenham Hotspur is a massive institution. You can't underplay 200,000 people turning up for a European parade final. Like, you can't ignore it. Like, the whole reason why Frank got sacked is because the institution of Tottenham Hotspur, because the fans were so against it. You know, that's basically the reason why Frank got sacked at the end of the day. Like, the voice is so loud. We are a massive club. We might not match that in terms of salary, and maybe, hopefully, the wage structure is going to change this summer, but time's going to tell. And Vinay and Lange have some making up to do to their fan base. They have a huge task on their hands if they want to turn this around, because as far as I'm concerned, they're going to be the next out the door. Vinay and Lange are going to be the next ones out the door if they don't get a finger out their ass and start getting some players in for the summer and get Pochettino signed, sealed, and delivered, ready for the summer window. Like, right now they already need to know that Pochettino is coming in the summer, and they need to start planning for that summer window. It's too late to be doing it in May. It's too late, because players are going to be at the World Cup. We go to Australia for our pre-season tour. So who's going to be the manager taking them on that pre-season tour? And don't forget, they're literally going to leave America, go straight to Australia. Like, is Poch going to be on that plane with everyone who's at the World Cup? You know, they're not going to be going around Australia without a new manager. So it's a crazy pre-season schedule. And we saw 2 seasons ago, when the whole movement happened with Ange and everything, he got them to move the pre-season tour because it was so hectic in the schedule. They had to shuffle it around because it's crazy. Like, they have like 5-6 games to play on pre-season, and then they come back and play more games after the World Cup. So this summer, like, needs to be planned and ready. Like, literally, if we're saying that the downfall of Vinay and Lange is this notion that they're not planning effectively for the future, they need to be doing that now, like today, because as soon as Igor Tudor's announced, that's the next job. That is the next job. Oh, yeah. The good news is that Poch can do plenty of scouting when he's at the World Cup. Exactly. Look, that's going to be what every club is going to be doing this World Cup. It's what every club is going to be doing, right? World Cup year is like one of those seasons. The manager merry-go-round in Europe right now is already in full swing. So you can see already with Forest, you can see in the summer, United are going to be in for a manager unless they take Carrick. Chelsea are going to be in for a manager unless they renew with the caretaker manager. Liverpool could be in for a manager this summer if Slot doesn't perform well. So there could potentially be a competition for a lot of the top tier managers in Europe, depending on how a lot of the teams perform the rest of this season. So look, you've potentially got 5 clubs, including Spurs, who are going to be in for a manager in the Premier League. That's 25% of clubs. And there's probably going to be other clubs who are in for managers. you know, like Pep, for example. Is Pep going to have another season? Well, that's another club, you know. So then you've got 6 clubs, 4 of which are top four. You know, Liverpool, City, United and Chelsea, if they're all in for a manager in the summer, we're going up against that. In which case, just get Poch done. Just get it done. You know, and I'm not saying that Poch is necessarily the answer, because we're going to have to be patient. And I can see, London Spurs, Poch is already the manager, in my opinion, because his contract is up after the World Cup. Exactly. And we know he's fully Spurs. We know he loves us. We love him. The challenge with Poch is can they get the players in the summer transfer window that's going to ignite the fire for this club going forward? Because ultimately that's good. We've always known it's the board that's the problem, right? So it's down to them to give him the tools. And I think Poch is the manager that would get the fans to be forgiving. Like if we finished maybe like 16th this season and next season Poch gets us to 8th or something, I think fans would be forgiving of that, because we've seen the trajectory before. And then it would just heighten the need for ENIC to sell up even more, because Poch has been tried and tested. Do you guys see what I mean? Do you guys agree with that? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's different if you bring in a manager that's not tried and tested, a bit like Angel Frank, because you're still going to use the manager as the scapegoat. But when you've got Poch at the helm, like, there is no scapegoat, because he's finished second and he got us to a Champions League final. So now what we need to do is rebuild the squad in the same way and to change the culture. And I think he can change the culture. That's what we need. We need a culture change, 100%. We need free-flowing football and a culture change. That's it. Sounds simple, right? Spurs are 6th in terms of wages overall, but other clubs have more players on big wages. Yeah, we've got a young squad. We've got such a young squad. Look, we've said it. Ange said it. You've got Bergvall, Gray, Odebear, Tell. You've got so many young players in the squad. Souza. Like, you've got so many young players in the squad, right? Like, that's going to also sway the average of the overall wage bill. Because it's different if you've got like 6 players in the squad who are at peak. Like, realistically, Bentancur's renewed, but Mickey hasn't even renewed yet. So when Mickey renews, our wage bill will relatively, the average will go up. You see what I mean? Like, he's going to go on a higher wage, isn't he? So that's all of those things. Even though the World Cup is coming up this summer, it's going to be intriguing to hear every press conference that we will have. Possibly more questions us than the USA team. Yeah. Igor Tudor smells like a Paratici. Yes, he was. Welcome. Another member. Yes, there was a Paratici connection from what we've heard. The reports being that he was shortlisted by Paratici last summer. I can't answer this. Why have Vinay and Lange still at the club if it's suggested the Lewis family took the decision? They are weak in their roles and P45s need to be issued. Well, watch this space. Never say never, because look, you can't fire them right now. They're getting the next firefighter through the door. Someone said that it was announced on BBC about Igor Tudor. So if that's the case, yeah, okay. 1 hour ago, Igor Tudor is agreed. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's coming out of the main news outlets now, then I think we're safe to say that it's going to be happening, isn't it? I wonder how much he's been paid. Oh my God. I wonder how much he's been paid just to come to us for 12 games. Can you imagine? It's like, I don't know, 2 million? Going to be like, I don't know, 500,000 a game or something ridiculous. I love Poch, but I'm afraid we are operating on nostalgia. Run it back, move it forward. So who would you get, Dong? Who would be your other option? Who would be your other option? Because I was of the opinion of, like you, I was saying, we're operating on nostalgia. But after having watched the high performance podcasts and having seen Poch talk and where we're at as a club, and I've reconsidered things, and over the last 3 games, the fact that the Spurs fans have been chanting Pochettino's name in those last 3 games. Like, it would suggest to me that if he did come in, he would have the heart of the fans. And if he has the heart of the fans, that's going to create the culture change and the motivation that we need to win games. Let's face it, Poch still has and uses his house in North London. Yeah, he's set up. He said it, guys. He said it. Yeah, exactly. That's the flip side. See, Dong, this is the flip side. If we don't get Poch after this interview, then there's going to be riots. So whichever way you look at it, he's the man, really. I mean, if your options are De Zerbi or Pochettino, like, you're going to take Poch, aren't you? Like, you're just going to take Poch over De Zerbi because he's tried and tested, and fans love him. Fans love him. They're already chanting his name in the streets, for goodness sake. Like, all that needs to happen now is for the board and for Vinay or whoever the CEO is, and get in a sporting director. We need a sporting director. Like, that's what we need. We need a sporting director to come in and start looking out to the market and seeing who we can buy. Like, we should already be planning for the summer. This whole big question mark now is like, there's this massive void because they were supposedly planning for the next 3 years with Frank. Like, that's never going to happen. And the thing is that you need to give the next manager at least 3 transfer windows. Because as Andrew was saying, one thing I did notice in the Overlap podcast was Andrew was saying that Frank, that basically he built the squad. He was like, I built that squad, and he sounded very proud of it. So for Frank to come in and use someone else's squad, and the only player he was bought this window was Gallagher, and none of them were playing for the manager. And that's the difference. When you go into the summer transfer window, you need to make sure that whoever's still in the squad is going to play for the manager. Like Romero, he needs to know today or whatever, like in the next few months, that he's going to the World Cup, he's going to come back, he's going to Australia, and the manager is going to be there and he wants to play for the manager. If not, get rid. If not, get rid now and use that as a window of opportunity to buy a new centre-back. Do you know what I mean? And look, we know about Pochettino. One thing we know about him is that he progresses young talent. So maybe he does see Byfield as someone that can fill that role. Maybe he sees Vuskovic come in and starts him. So there potentially could be like a lot of squad. There's going to be, you can't replace 12 players, 11, I keep saying 12 players. You can't replace 11 players in one transfer window. Maybe realistically, you've got 24 players, or maybe 29, I think we've got on our books. So including like 3 keepers, maybe Kinski goes. So you're going to have a lot. You're going to have like at least 6 players being of rotation. We can't do what we did last summer and just rotate 3, just have 4 new signings and get rid of our best ones. You can't do that again. You've got to make sure the players are all on side. I said, so as I was saying, knock, knock, who's there? I was saying originally, I started this stream and the quality was really bad, but I originally had beggars can't be Tudors. Because we're beggars right now. We're beggars. Come, please, manage us for the next 12 games and our house is on fire and everyone's injured and no one's fit to play. Like, you know, fair play to him for taking the job. Money talks. And maybe, hopefully, in this case, it gives us a few wins as well. If Poch comes, Romero stays. Just hope he can turn him into a Toby. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing. He's gonna get the best out of the players. Yeah, you need to, whoever. Look, this is what I'm saying. This is what I was saying a month ago when I started this channel. Right, the whole problem with the Frank situation was that they didn't back him in the window, and then they decided to sack him after. You make your decision either before the window, or you bring in players and you double down on it. And now what we've done is we've ended up in this halfway house. And I do not want to see this again this summer. This is the problem with our bloody board and with Enoch. Like, it's their fault. It's completely their fault. So they need to sort it out. They need to sort it out, and quickly. Honestly, they've obviously made phone calls already to Poch. They've obviously already contacted Poch, and they've obviously already said to him, do you want to come back? And he said, no, I've got this job. I'm going to see it out for the summer. I'm going to see out the job for the summer. And, you know, maybe I'll come back after that, but I'll make my decision then. Are you going to back me? And then Vinay probably goes on the phone. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to be here in the summer because I've been put back on probation period. It's just a joke. But guys, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, in the players podcast list, if you've got a free hour this weekend and you love Spurs content, go and watch that interview back with Ben Davis. It was really interesting, him talking about, playing under Pochettino and the difference between him and Mourinho and in the back room and all of that stuff. It was really interesting. It gave me hope. It gave me hope again that Pochettino could be the guy. For those of you in the chat that are doubting Poch, like, that podcast was a really interesting one, because Ben Davis has been a guy that's been with us for so long. I trust his judgment. Did Romero ever come out and apologize for the fans for the red? No. Someone suggested, when I went on Holly Hotspurs, Becky suggested that he's been basically banned from speaking out, like he's basically been silenced, and that's not beyond the realms of possibility. So maybe they shut him up. Maybe they just said to him, look, the sacking's coming, don't apologize for the red, we get it, you don't want to play for him, so he's going now, so don't come out and say anything else. That could be a possibility. Maybe his media representation have been told to hold off, so that could be a plausible reason why. But look, we're just giving excuses because it's still not good enough. Haven't seen Decky for ages. Then with the news of Tudor taking over, Decky's first post is from Hotspur Way. Yes. So for anyone that hasn't seen, Kulusevski posted on Instagram him working out in the gym, and it looked like it was a Hotspur Way. But we know that Kulusevski is in training. He's just not officially on grass yet. So he's not going to be match fit. So I would say that if Tudor's probably, it does have the possibility to play him, it's not going to be until the back end of the season. Like, it'll probably be against like the Chelsea game or like the last game of the season, Last one. Go on, London Spurs. When Poch comes back, will Harry Kane come back? Can you imagine, guys? Can you imagine we stay up in the Premier League? Imagine it now. We stay up in the Premier League. Kane comes back. Ben Davis has his last game for Spurs under Poch. We're all nostalgic. We finish 4th. Everything's hunky-dory. We get back in the Champions League. Voila. If only it was that simple, eh? If only it was that simple. But football is not that simple. It's a game of two halves, and you have to beat your competition. You have to beat what's in front of you. It was at RC all day and today. Wasn't he? So interestingly, I watched it back on the ref cam. Oh, hold on. There's another comment there, but I'll go back to it. I looked at the ref cam, and the ref said that Kuti lost the ball. And when I kept watching it back, he didn't lose the ball. So it was a bit weird. I think he was in possession. He went to go and kick it. And was it Casemiro? Just came in with like a massive lunge, and it just ended up that Kuti ended up catching him. But who was it the other day? Foden did like a disgusting challenge, and that wasn't given a red. Foden did a disgusting challenge on the back heel. Like, that was horrible, and he didn't get a red. Like, the double standards in the Premier League in terms of refereeing is disgusting. The refereeing sometimes is just so bad. Lange confiscated his phone till the end of term. Whose phone was that? Oh, Romero's phone, maybe. If Tudor does exceptionally well, he puts himself in the frame. Oh, to carry on the job, maybe. I don't know. First time, afternoon, Phil. Good evening, even. Good evening, and from London. First time catching a live stream and not having to catch up later. Well, unfortunately, we've been going for an hour and a half, so this is probably like the last 5 minutes or so. I'm just wrapping up, and we're going to read just a few more comments because I love hearing what you guys think. Yeah, like, just to round us off, what's the general feeling of the Tudor appointment now that we know it's like most likely going to happen, and given all our injuries and everything? Are we hopeful? I guess that's all we can really wish for, isn't it? How old would Kane be? I think he's about 33. He's currently 32. Kane. Yeah, next year he'll be 33. Yeah, this summer he'll be 33. Kane will be 33 this summer. I don't know if he comes back to us, guys. I don't know. I don't think he comes back to us. Look, we need to replace Moani. Unless Tudor's going to show us what Moani's made of, and Moani's going to show us what he's made of, we need to replace that striker because we need to sell Richie. In my opinion, Richie's not good enough. Richie needs to go. Richie just needs to get out. A very big if, but a result next week throws a Sabo in the Poch machine. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. We have to get behind him now. If Igor Tudor is the manager, we have to get behind him. We have to hope. We have to pray with all of our might, with our collective conscience, to hope that we get 3 more wins. And these players are going to fight for it. That's what it comes down to now. So let's see what happens on Monday, because Monday will be the first day in training. So let's see what Monday brings. I'm assuming that, considering now it's almost 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, that the club is maybe not going to announce today. Yeah, Spurs haven't published yet. Spurs with two changes. Arsenal cash with 2 changes. What's the 2 changes? Galvanize. I don't know what the second change is. I don't know. 7 months. I'm not sure. No, it's just talking about Moani. 3 goals, let's go see 2 kids. Hey, maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we kept Moani and we didn't get rid of him. Maybe this was in the pipeline. Someone said earlier, did I think that this was a planned move? And the more you think about it, considering the fact that Moani wanted to leave us, maybe they made him stay and they were like, hey, we'll get your ex-manager in. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Oh, I did say it, didn't I, Matt? I said, you know what? I said it. I said, what a marketing opportunity. Renew your vows. Renew your vows. They said take a vow at the beginning of this season. We are going to be renewing our vows on Saturday the 14th. And do you know what? Valentine's Day, when you have a day in social media where there's a trend or something happening, typically announcements get lost in the noise. So the irony of all of that being that everyone's going to be tweeting about Valentine's Day and Tottenham Hotspur are going to be announcing the love for our new interim manager. And it's going to get lost in the noise, which is just hilarious. You just couldn't write it. You could not write it. What a moment. Yeah, I'll take that. Good prediction. I didn't know who it was going to be, though, but it's a very fair point. This club loves announcing on Fridays. Maybe it will still come. Yeah, maybe it will still come. Maybe. Don't forget that we've got the new CMO and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah. Kane going to the NFL. Oh dear. Maybe he'll just start playing golf. Who knows? No, Kane's got time in him left. Kane's got time. Kane's going to be playing till he's 40, isn't he? I mean, look at Ronaldo. I'm not saying he is Ronaldo, but he could give him a run for his money. Maybe he finishes off his career. Oh my God, can you imagine if he finishes his career off in LA with Son? Oh my God, I would pay to see that. Do you know what? I'd go to America just to watch a game with Son and Kane and Lloris. How old is Lloris now? Barcelona apparently is. Yeah, I've heard that rumor as well. Maybe. Look, he doesn't play for us. He's not in our squad, so it's no loss to us anyway. He's already gone. The problem is that we didn't have a succession plan for him, and we'd never replaced him. So now it's down to the board. Now it's down to Vinay and Lange or whoever their successors are going to be to get in a striker. Like, that's the truth. You know, you put Dane Skada on loan. Is it going to be a manager who's going to come in like Pochettino, who's going to look at these youngsters and see opportunities somewhere? Or is this going to be a case of we need to upgrade on Richie and we need to upgrade on Mawani and Scarlett, which is probably where we're at the moment. And the whole reason why that has happened is because we've just chopped and changed so many times. We need to stick with something. We need to stick with something for a few seasons. Poch has been our longest manager for a long, long time. What was it, like 5 years? It's so hard in today's game to have a manager or a coach who's been in a club for a significant period of time. You know, in the Premier League at the moment, the only managers that have managed to do that are Pep and Arteta. Let's be honest. You know, it's so hard for coaches now. Like, clubs are so fickle, the competition is so high. We just need stability at the top, and you need to rebuild a squad which is going to have longevity, because at the moment we've got 29 players who were designed or came in for 4 different managers. Look, put it this way, okay? Last year, and I was thinking this last night. Last year we signed Danso. We got Danso. We got Tell. So those 2 guys in a year have played under 3 managers. Guys, like, seriously, you've got players that have been here for less than a year and they're on their 3rd manager. Like, that's insane. I mean, how can you create any kind of stability with that? You can't. So it's as much about getting the right appointment as it is about creating a long-term project and backing the long-term project. Because you can't have, like, these players, they're going to have, by the time summer's over, they're going to be on their 4th manager in a year. Like, that's bonkers. 4 managers in like 14 months. Ange, Frank, Tudor, and then Poch if he comes in. Like, that's insane. Have you ever heard anything like it? It's insane. No? It's just madness. Danso, can you imagine Danso? He's like, oh my God, this is like another manager. Like, what do I answer to someone else now? Crazy. Anyway, guys, it's almost 6 o'clock. They change managers faster than I change my toothbrush. Exactly. Like, how can you get consistency? Like, we just need to see the best out of these players, and you need to stabilize the ship. You know? Nah, it's not going to happen. I think Arsenal are favourites. Oh, I just don't want to see it. Come on, guys. We have to get riled up now. We have to get riled up for that London derby. It's happened at Forest like this year. Yeah, true. But Forest arguably is not the same beast. It's not the same beast that Spurs is. The expectations at Tottenham are so much different than at Forest. I know Forest have, had their era as well, but with our stadium, with all the money that we have, with all the concerts that go on, with our PSR, with the talent that we've had, we should be leagues ahead of Forest. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to Forest fans, because I think Forest at times have done very well. But at the same time, we should be in a more stable position. The fact is that we're just not. And that is down to, obviously, the departure of Levy, and it's down to the incompetence of Vinay and Lange. But I wouldn't put it all on their heads, because this was happening way before them. They're just dealing with the mess. They're dealing with the hand that they've been dealt just as much as all the other guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, Vinay and Lange, they're culpable because they had a lack of poor judgment. But I think that they underestimated the fragmentation of the Spurs institution, of the global noise that's coming out from the fan base. I think even this is the thing. Someone said in the chat earlier that Spurs are a small club, but that's the whole thing, right? Like, if the noise is loud enough, it doesn't matter whether you're in the stadium or whether you live in San Antonio as one of our members. I can't remember who was it that lived in San Antonio. It doesn't really matter where you live, because if the noise is that you're not going to watch the game and you're not going to watch the broadcasts, then it's kind of like it's a non-entity, you know, like the manager is just as culpable as Vinay and Lange, is what I'm trying to say. And they're just like riding on the fact that Levy left the mess, you know, but someone needs to come in and pick up the pieces. The players should be asking, what can we do to keep a manager? Yeah, but this again, it's poor recruitment, isn't it? It's poor recruitment. You're choosing to recruit players or transfer of players who are fans, who are club signings. That's what I'm trying to say. They're club signings. They're not signings for a manager. And maybe there's a couple of players in the mix, like maybe Paulinho, for example, or Dan. You know, you can't even say Danso because he was signed under Ange. So really the only one is Paulinho and maybe Xavi. But Xavi is probably a club signing. So all of these players are probably signed to the club as opposed to the manager, and that's what's needed now. You need to have a manager that you're going to sign players for, and maybe they didn't back Frank enough with the players that he really would have needed. I don't know. At least San Antonio, Spurs are second in their league. Yeah. But we have a fan. We have a member of the Quiz Collective who is San Antonio. Maybe he got the wrong Spurs. Maybe he's watching this content now going, oh my goodness, I've chosen the wrong club. Oh dear. Anyway, guys, right, it's 10-6. Weekend is here. Checkout is here. Weekend is here. Onwards and upwards for Tottenham Hotspur. We have appointed Igor Tudor as the interim manager until June 2026. That is the news and the report on the grapevine, as is coming out now by Sky Sports, BBC Sports, pretty much all the outlets. Fabrizio Romano. It sounds to be confirmed. When we'll get the official confirmation from Tottenham Hotspur, that is yet to be decided. It'll be interesting to see the video this week, whether it comes out of the training session, whether the players turn up on time. And you know what? I was thinking something else. The Instagram page of Tottenham Hotspur, they haven't shown the players coming in a very long time. And I was thinking to myself, that's because they've been turning up late. So let's see if the social media of Tottenham Hotspur as well is going to show us that the players are a bit more up for this than they have been for the previous guy, unfortunately. And I would just like to say, Thomas Frank, thank you. Thank you for, you know, your patience and just, you know, I guess coming to Spurs in the first place. I'm sorry that it hasn't worked out. I wish you all the best. I wish you well. Sounds like you're most likely going to be the Palace manager next year. So look, we'll stay tuned for that one. But as far as we're concerned at Tottenham Hotspur, we're on our new trajectory. We move on and upwards. And so let's see what happens. Tudor is to Judah, right? Tudor is to Judah. So let's see what happens. I'll see you guys. I don't know if I'll come on live tomorrow, but we'll see what news breaks over the weekend. I probably need a day off myself at some point. So let's see how we go. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. Bye for now.